Hi guys. Today I'm going to have you work on your own today with this video to support. Um, just kind of a rehash of, and hopefully we remember. If not, this will provide support for using a number line to add positive and negative numbers using the arrow notation. We're going to look at 3 or 4 slides here, and then I'll have you work on the rest of it for your own. So again, learning target, I can use number lines to add positive and negative integers. If we look at the first slide here that we're looking at, so this is technically slide number 4. In our heads, we probably understand 40 plus 10 is 50. Yes, I completely understand that. But if the temperature starts at 40 degrees and increases 10 degrees, what will the temperature be? How does this diagram represent this? Well, if you look at this first number of degrees, it's a positive. So it starts out by representing it by starting at 0, then going up to 40 because of it being positive. So that represents our first situation. The next part of the problem talks about it increases by 10 degrees. So that means we're going to add on to this arrow. If it increases, it's going more to the right, becoming more positive. So now here's where we want to be careful. We're not going to go 10 steps because each step counts as 5. So if I'm at 40, if I count 1 hop, that's 5. 2 hops, that's 10. So it's going to go from 40 to 50. So the second line starts at 40 and adds 10 to it because 10 degrees being increased by. And of course, the final ending is 50 degrees, which by common sense makes sense. 40 plus 10 is 50. But this is how we can use these diagrams to represent, especially when we start getting numbers that are positive and negative, both negative, etc. And if you saw in the warm-up, some of your arrows were pointing both in the same direction. They were either both to the left or both to the right. If they're both to the right, that meant whatever was going on, we had 2 positive numbers. If they're both going to the left, we had 2 negative numbers. If they were going either direction, then we have 1 of each. In fact, you had a special kind where it went 3 to the right, 3 to the left, back to 0, and that's our additive inverses we were talking about the other day. So how are we going to carry this over? Let's go to slide number 5. Here's what we did. We started a chart and we put that first problem in there. It started at 40. It got 10 degrees warmer. It ended at 50. And we wrote an addition equation for it. So now we're going to use these arrows and we might have to change sizes and stuff to model the next one. So it says 40 degrees is its start. So since it's a positive 40, I'm going to use a blue arrow because I've got to go to the positive direction, right? And in this case, the arrow's not long enough, so I'm going to have to drag it so that it goes to 40. Now that it's there, I have to look at the next thing. What's the situation that's happening? It's getting 5 degrees colder. Colder means getting negative. So that means I have to go to the left. So this arrow is going to the right. The blue one is. The red one's going to the left. So I'm going to need that one. So like the other one, but instead of going to the right, it's going to start at the tip of the arrow and go to the left. However, it's only going 5 degrees. So if I'm at 40 and I go 1 step, that is 5, right? Because from 40 to 35 is 5 units. So I need to shrink my arrow so that it goes from 40 to 35. So that's how you model it on the number line. And then we can fill it in. We know that we ended up at 35. Our equation would be 40 is what we started with again, plus, but this time we added negative 5. And when we do that, we want to put that in parentheses to group the negative sign together. And then equals where we ended, 35 in that particular case. So this is pretty much what you're going to be looking at in the project. I think we're going to do one more together, and then you can use this video to refer back to or ask questions throughout the class. So let's take a look at slide number Oh, that was 5. Slide number 6 for row C. So row C says 40 degrees is what it is at starting. So that means it's positive 40 degrees. So I'm going to need to use a blue arrow. And I'm going to have to take it all the way out to positive 40. Now, according to this, it gets 30 degrees colder. Since it's colder, I've got to go back to the left because colder is towards the negative numbers. So I'm going to bring a red arrow down. And again, it's going to start at the end of the first arrow that we made. But now we've got to go 30 units. So if I'm at 40, I go 1 step, that's 5. 2 steps, that's 10. 3 steps, that's 15. 4 steps, that's 20. 5 steps is 25. Another step, that's 30. So I have now gone to 30, where 30 steps or 30 units back to the left. Where do I end up at? I end up at 10. So back to the table. The final temperature ended up being 10. The addition equation being 40 or positive 40 plus, and we did negative 30 degrees. Oh, not 39, 30. And we got an answer of 10. The remaining slides are essentially all the same from these. So you can do the 40 degrees colder. One note, when you get into slides 9 and 10, if it starts negative, you've got to start with a red arrow. So if your temperature start is negative, you've got to use a red arrow to start. But then again, it's still going to be following the same formats. Fill these out, and then all that's left will be slide 12, where you just kind of reflect on what the process was that you did. Otherwise, if you have any questions, send a message through chat, and we will take a look at it.